So today we're going to change it up a little bit and do some DevOps type stuff. This is actually how I became a much more valuable programmer, was being able to do DevOps type work. This is what got me into Amazon, to be honest, and I had a role there that predicated on this DevOps ability. So it can't be understated how important this is, especially if you need a job. Learn how to get things running on machine. That's not your local development environment. I promise you, you can go a long way just knowing that stuff. So what we're gonna do here is I have an application that is running on my server that's over there in the closet. It is live. Whoops, not that one. It is live right now. However, there are some issues with it. So if we go to this website, you'll see I'm logged on to my app. This is a problem. It's a simple map app for a client to basically list contacts and have employees be able to find them. So that is the premise of the application. However, there are some bugs that need to get fixed. And instead of manually sitting through and deploying this thing, I thought, fuck it, let's get this whole thing at least mostly CI/CD'd, or somewhat CI/CD'd. I haven't really done full CI/CD with Nix. That's where this app is hosted. It's over here. And so we probably won't get it all the way there. However, let's get into how this is actually running at the moment and what we need to do. So this is the source code. Nothing too interesting here. We made some changes to fix that map issue, and we will probably need to add some environment variables to make things configurable. And so these are my instructions right now. This is deployed as a Docker container, which then sits and runs on the bare metal machine. Pretty straightforward deployment, or I guess deployment and hosting strategy. We're just using the virtualized operating systems within a container, and that gets us pretty far. So the problem I have is I need to do all of this right now. I build the image, I tag the image, push the image. This is glue.com. And so that's fine and all. However, there's a few issues with our setup. The first being that our registry is not protected. So we need to, and the other issue is, well, there's a few issues. We're just tagging everything as the latest. We're not able to keep track of the different versions. A strategy that I like or have used in the past is whenever an update is made to master branch, you go ahead and kick off this build image, and then the tag is a part of the commit hash. So that is eventually what we're gonna build towards here. Okay, so the question you might have is, well, how are we gonna get it onto the server? And this is, let me show you something first. So there's this cool operating system called NixOS, and it allows for declarative configuration of the server. Why is that important? Because, and a key part of DevOps is that things should be written, from my point of view, things should be written in configurations so that like things are very declarative. There's like one source of truth for that, and in this case, it's this like Nix file. What's also cool about Nix is that they offer like completely reproducible like packaging and software. So if you can build things exactly as they were at a certain point in time, and that is especially hard in modern day software as things have a huge interweb of dependencies, right? So and with the appearance of CI/CD and pushing things fast, like pushing things quickly, like these things are constantly getting upgraded and updated. So it does help when we're able to pin things, and that's built in our operating system. So the root of every NixOS is this thing called the configuration.nix. Here we define like programs or packages that we want to run. So we're setting some configs here. Personally, I didn't actually change much of this. You set up a user, give them some permissions, and then this is where it gets interesting, where you can define system-wide what packages we want in our on our box sitting in our operating system. So here, I only want a few things, right? So like I want Vim to be able to edit files remotely, as I like SSH tunnel in. That's my tool of choice. wget, I don't know if I even use this, but can't help, can't hurt. And Git, since most of the projects are stored on GitHub, we need a way to like pull those down in the machine. So need Git. Okay. This is commented out. So this is also interesting, right? So we can also define services that are like pre-offered or pre-built on the machine. I'm not actually sure how these work, but to enable my SSH, all I have to do is set the service enabled to true. This one is one I created, so I'm going to go ahead and move this down so it doesn't become confusing, as these are the ones that are actually provided. So Docker registry is also provided out of the box, so all I had to do is go and enable that. And then the cooler part is what you see here, like the service find glue. What is that? Well, this is just a service that I built and I want it running. So if we go to our find glue service file, you'll see that I have defined what's called a package, and that's what actually packages up my source code and creates a running Python environment. As this is written in Python, so this pulls it down, does like the install, gets our dependencies that we need, and then it's ready to be called. We just go ahead and run the scripts here in using systemd timers. I didn't really know the power of systemd until I started working with Nix. You could just like basically schedule everything via systemd. It's a very powerful tool, and I think underutilized. And what you end up seeing is people just start building their own frameworks for like things that can already be done or is already provided to you out of the box. Yeah, like there are warts with it, but you're going to be using Linux anyways. There's not much you can do about that. I mean, I'm sure there's some distros that don't have systemd built in, but why reinvent the wheel with when we have a way to run jobs? like built in, right? I don't want to be pulling in a ton of dependencies, a ton of overhead. I just want these to run as close to the metal as possible. So this is what provides that for me. Okay, cool. So that explains what those jobs are. So the next thing is, and I know this might seem odd that like, well, like why are we using containers? Containers is, they don't run close to the metal, and yeah, that's true. However, for my purpose of iterating quickly, the fastest way for me to get this Go application running was via container. Um, and so we're going to go ahead and just use that for now. I do envision myself moving to a Nix packaging scheme similar to our Vine Glue app, and then just have the package just run on a systemd service, right? For now, we're just going to use Docker because that's what we already have, and we have this container here. My ISP doesn't provide static IPs, so I'm able to use like Cloudflare's dynamic DNS and make my server and its subsequent applications like available. So that's what that's for. So if I'm already running one container, it doesn't hurt to run another one, I guess, for now, but we'll see. So well, what does this do? So you just provided a image name and then some other Docker commands, and it just runs a container. That's it. This container is actually, it is, yeah. So it just runs. So there are a couple of problems. Oh, and then the last but also important piece is we have an NGINX reverse proxy set up. So then this allows us to run our, I guess, like multiple, like hosting. It just sits as a reverse proxy to for all our different apps. So we have our main website here. This just points to the root domain, and then this is where we dump our. That's just a regular, like, pointing to a folder where people can access the website files. It's a very simple model. We don't have some fancy like server generating files for us. Why bother for such a simple thing? Okay. The next thing is our providers application. This is our dynamic application that I will be deploying now, and then last our registry. So we have some settings set here. I was just able to fix the registry today. Earlier there was, and it took me a couple hours actually, unfortunately. Apparently so that this is out there, so that when other people run into this problem, they can potentially fix it. When you have a reverse proxy sitting in front of a container registry, the Docker container registry, there are certain headers that you can and can't set. And so out of the box, Nix's version of NGINX like sets some proxies settings, and like I guess those are fine for these other routes, but for this one it was really it was causing some issues. You can go ahead and look at what this is in the source code just by googling around, and then we needed to define our allow it to pass the header back to the registry as it was coming through. So then once this got fixed, now I'm able to actually push images to and from our to our Docker registry. And so images, just gonna look at images here. I have to run Docker. So what is an issue here? So there's an issue here because this registry is not secure. People can go ahead and like pull down my images and maybe delete them. I don't know. There's not that much harm in that, but it's good security practice to you know, don't allow free access to the entire planet. So now my Docker is running. So Docker images, Docker push. Oh, actually, I'm just gonna copy and paste this. I'm not gonna write this out. I was playing around with the local registry. I don't actually need that, so here we can push this. The layer already exists. It's already there. So cool. So you see it works, and then you can Docker pull it down. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this down with basic auth mechanism. For the purposes of the video, we're going to keep it as such. Eventually we're going to move it back, but yeah, I need to try this to make sure it works with basic auth. Or I'm not going to change it back. I'm going to change the username and password to something else and not store it in plain text in the file. So that's that. Okay, so we need to edit the file and then reapply apply the settings, right? So it's declarative. So we go ahead and edit our NGINX. Next. Okay, cool. So what I like to do is I like to make the changes here so it like persists in case like this server dies or want to redeploy somewhere else. We want to prevent as much drift as possible. And then just go ahead and copy and paste it. And then I always forget these commands, but Nix has like pretty decent documentation, so. Actually the documentation can be confusing now that I think about it. Okay, so we wanna, I just go ahead and run this one. So it runs. Okay, so what this is doing is when we make a change, this is applying all of those configuration changes, and now we have a new version, like a new version of our system running. So we changed our NGINX configuration, and so like we can kind of verify that, oh, something happened because like it's restarting the NGINX systemd unit. So like if that's occurring, then you know some changes are probably made. Cool. Alright, so what do we want to test? So I want to test if I have to log into the registry now. So if we go to registry.flyingglue.com, nice, there's some authentication that's needed. So we know what the password is over here, because it's written down there. But the more interesting thing, instead of logging in online, is if we can log in via our Docker or not. Sorry, our Docker client on our terminal or not. What the heck? How do I do this? Okay, whatever. That's what I want to do. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. CD into Docker, all that Docker images. go ahead and just like try and pull this down or something. There should be like an access to that. Head. Right? No basic auth credentials. So generally what you want to do here is all you need to do is do a Docker login, and then it'll prompt you. Docker login. I need to do this, I think, registry.com. I think it's user. Okay, cool. The login succeeded, and we'll verify that by pulling down the image. Cool, it's up to date. Rad. So, why do we need to do all that? Because let's get into the juicy CI/CD now that this is done. Anyways, I use GitHub. GitHub is good. And GitHub Actions are, pretty great, actually. I don't have anything bad to say about them. Going from GitHub Actions to something like, we had this crap at Amazon called like pipelines, and like I get it. I get why they needed to build it. I get why it sucks now. But like the CI/CD story there is just riddled with confusion and just a bunch of junk, to be honest. So after coming from like the world of GitLab, and then GitHub Actions, it was hard to go to that life at Amazon and deal with, technically world-class tooling, but, that shit was junk for the most part. So, I'm not even gonna lie. That is a big reason why I do not work there anymore. Junk tooling is just not it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create, so for GitHub Actions work, you need to provide it a, like it looks in like this folder called GitHub, and then we're going to create what's called a workflow, and this is going to be, and that's wrong, but that's all right. I shouldn't need to delete this. Delete. Yeah. Okay. Rename. So you need to create this YAML file. I just have some boilerplate that I've used over and over again. And if you look at my last, so I learned a lot of this stuff actually from my own projects. I had this like website that I was running, and it had just full CI/CD, pretty clean. And that's when I realized that, the technology doesn't necessarily matter unless you're applying it for something that you can like actually make money on. So it was a hard lesson to learn because I had a lot of fun building this. I really wanted this to work out, but I just didn't know what I was doing. So the good thing about this is you get to reuse a lot of the code and concepts that you learned, right? Ultimately, that experience was invaluable because now I know how to like instantiate my own like CI/CD type pipeline. Yeah, it's pretty worth if you ask me. So all we need to do here, that was pretty cool. They used to deploy it onto Kubernetes. I like Kubernetes, but I think I learned my lesson of getting too far away from the metal on my last project. And why is that important? It's important because if you're far away from the metal, instead of working, it forces you to simplify your project. Yeah, this may not look simple, but compared to running things on Kubernetes, that really lifts up a lot of overhead, and I can focus on more project, or sorry, the things that actually move the needle. Instead of learning this, like, it's an awesome tool, but it solves a problem that I don't have, which is scaling and building a large microservice architecture, which I did. However, that was the wrong choice. If I built that application as a monolith, I think things would have been different. I would have been more effective in getting out features that actually move the needle a lot more quickly, instead of having to debug, crazy distributed systems problems. And so that is why this app is important, because it's a whole application built as a monolith. Yeah, it's using some of those CI/CD concept, or virtualization concepts. So it does. You might say like, hey, like there's still a lot of complexity here, but in essence, there's not, right? Previously, I would have probably built like a 3-layer application to solve this, right? We have our front end built in React, being hopefully hosted on a probably running in its own container ultimately, and then or Next.js, and then having some like main service in the middle there, which often was Go, and then a database, so something like Postgres, or and then stuff like Elasticsearch and things. That's what I used in the previous project. But what I realized is that okay, breaking those things up creates a large overhead when things start to break, right? Now you have 3 pieces to investigate. The beauty of the monolith is everything is in here. You're not dealing with things traveling across the network to make it confusing. Pure function, just function calls. And so it reduces the amount of stuff you have to think about. And so for the purpose of this application, that is what's needed. We need to just get this thing out the door. Okay, so what does this do? We do some sort of checkout. We create a tag using our commit hash, short version of it. We set up some sort of action here. I don't know exactly what this does. And then I think this is actually needed for like this Docker, like one of these things, but that's okay. So we do set up Docker build action. And then this does the build and push. So there's a lot of stuff we don't actually see. So this does a login, and then this I think actually does the build and push. It's kind of annoying how you can't really see what's going on inside here. Guess that's not that big of a deal. Abstraction I guess is good, but whatever. It's really not that important. I could, I guess, write a bash script to like solve the problem, but again, you're not making that big of a difference that way. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to go in here and add our variables, secrets and variables, actions. So we're going to add a repository secret. And this is going to be a registry username. And this is user. It's supposed to be secret. It's password. Okay. And that should actually work. So let's go ahead and do a git push. Curious to see if that works. If so, this might be a pretty quick video. All right, here's where our project lives. Look at the diff really quick. False, fine. I guess this is all fine. I need to change that, but that's fine for now. Yeah, I did a bunch of styling on the login page. Again, more style, or this was like inserting some SVGs and stuff. Kind of critical if you want things looking good. More SVGs. This was the login. Oh yeah, that's for the search bar. The search bar looked really ugly before. I just needed to sit there and hammer that one out because you can't have a search app and have a janky ass looking search bar, so I had to get that fixed. But design is definitely not my expertise. It's just, you know, you gotta have a decent enough user experience where people are gonna try and use your thing. If not, you can't just put some low effort piece of crap out there and expect people to use it. Styled the search bar. Cities. And added GitHub Actions file. Okay, cool. Let's see if this is running. Bump, 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 bump. See? So with a simple push, your job is just going to run. All right, so we got a tag. This is getting something. I think that's needed to like install Docker or something. Yeah. Damn, that sucks. It's because I put in the wrong registry. That's wrong. Thought I fixed the registry. Ah, shit. There's 2 references to it. This is the problem with GitHub Actions. It's like when you run into a problem, and I ran into a lot of them when I was first developing this piece of pipeline which I pulled from. I spent a lot of hours actually working on that. And the only way to fix it is to just keep pushing crap up. I mean, there are some solutions, but keep pushing crap up and then seeing the logs here and figuring out what broke. You know, I probably could have come up with a more robust way of doing it, but yeah, there's okay, but there's like, you know, there's only so many ways you can fix it. given how GitHub Actions is pretty closed. So I know there's some efforts out there to not do that, but not have to do that, not have to use GitHub Actions or whatever, but it's a really good tool, so I don't really care much for the lock-in at the moment. I have much bigger problems to try and solve than be concerned about, oh, is GitHub gonna lock me in? And then I have to pay money. Oh, you know, again, that's little picture stuff. Not stuff that actually moves the needle. So here we go. Looks like the login worked. We're just doing our build and push. This is kind of annoying that it doesn't show logs for what's actually being built and pushed. So kind of whack actually. I do know that the image takes about 40 seconds to build. I think that's because of the linking to SQLite. You have to use Sego, and that really slows down things. I think. Could be wrong. Alright. So once that is done, we are going to grab the tag, and the tag is going to be here somewhere. Build and push. Somewhere's going to have the image, right? And that's where we're going to grab it. That's it. Alright. Okay. Pushing manifest, is that it? No, we can just look at our registry. It's kind of annoying that I don't know exactly what it is. It should just log it out. It's kind of stupid. Okay, so see, this is our latest tag. So if we look here, it's only up to this @ sign, 79E66C. All right. So we're going to go ahead and plug this into our info file. And now we can just make a quick change to our containers.nix. Go ahead and apply this here. Containers.nix. Okay. Okay, cool. So this should be it. So we can go ahead and do a, let me just go ahead and save this. Go ahead and do a test deployment. And now we're switching. Okay, that's because our registry has a password, so this can't pull from it. All right, we're gonna have to do some digging here. So as Let's see, there's probably a way to define it, right? Containers. Let's see, CI containers. NixOS. How can I move away from Docker Hub for my image? Okay. What the fuck? Dude. God. Why doesn't he explain how to pull it from a private repo? You're gonna have to look at the API, I guess. Containers, ports, username, login. Here we go. Okay. Cool. So then we need to CI containers. Name. This is going to be username. Username. Huh. Yeah, the documentation on Nix is not very good, but the stuff is there if you work hard enough for it. And the benefits you get are pretty solid. You know, you're not getting, you know, as clean of an abstraction as Kubernetes, but the ability to stay that close to the metal is very nice. Path to file containing the password. Okay. Luckily, we have our cd in the home, cd in the path, and this is going to be Vim. This is going to be registry password. Does it need to be encoded? Path to a file containing a password. Does it need to be like password file? I mean, I guess that's it. Doesn't need to be like encoded or anything. Wow. What do we want to do here? We want to print out the path, right? And then we're going to pass to this path into my contains file. Because this is not password, this is reserve. And the file name is ls. passwords. Registry password. Yeah, so now let's cd back to etc/NixOS and sudo containers. Okay, now we want to just we want to copy and paste our configuration in there. Okay, registry password, username, password file. And let's try this. Rebuild it. Please work. Default units failed. Podman provider. Oh, why did it break? Okay. So this is where we get to use our systemd skills. I don't really have any, so I'm just gonna go ahead and Google my way through it. So they have like some commands to like go and grab things. So we want to use this, and I think it's called Podman providers, right? So it's Podman and the name of our service. That's the name of the unit. Cool. Okay, so this is from the 29th, which is today, but this is at 4 p.m. when I was fucking around with a lot of stuff. Okay. What? Start request repeated too quickly? Error initializing source. So it can't find my image. What? Huh. What? Error initializing source. Wow, that's super weird. Let me see if I can just pull down this image. basic auth credentials. Can I just pull this? Probably can, but okay, this works. So now it's on the machine. Super weird. Maybe this like can't pull it or something. I assume it's like it's really weird. Really weird. Right, because like this should just cat the file. Log in. It should just be plain text, right? I'm scared to run this again. Because it might work because I pull down the images manually. But that would suck. Because it's not really what we want on TIC. It's kind of stupid. So it's not actually pulling down the image, unfortunately. Well, I may need to go back and fix that. I guess worst case, I can just pull down the image, make sure I change it. Ugh, there's no CI/CD yet, but whatever. What the heck? This is not what I want. What do I want to do? Oh, I want to look for the instruction to what is this? So what do I want to do? So I want to kick this off. So when we next boot, it should kick in with all the new configurations. Okay, so sudo boot. Connection is closed. We'll run this in a second. So now with all this, once this is back up and running, we're going to try the website and see if it works. And once that's done, we have kind of halfway of our CI/CD. We get stuff to our Docker registry on push, which is cool. And it's taking a long time to boot up. Really long time. But we're almost there. Don't need Docker anymore. Duration timed out. Sweet. Okay. And the only way to test is to see if our changes made it through. So let's go to providers. Fuck. We have a problem. So there's a problem. That didn't change. Let's look at our logs again. I'm surprised they Podman. Okay, cool. This was at 22:35:19. Authentication required. Okay. So there's a problem with our login. Authentication required. Okay, I guess that's what's happening, but it's not what we want. What do we want to do? If we change this to login equals to this, and then you're golden. Let's see. Where is our thing? Right here. OCI containers, dot containers, providers. No, we don't want user. Oh, login. Oh, I guess we need the registry. That makes sense. We need this registry here. So we have that. Registry where to log into. Okay, cool. Don't need HTTPS. Okay, so using a semicolon. Okay. Let's save this. I think that was our issue. Remember GGVG to copy and paste or select everything. That is useful for copy and pasting. I'm in my command. I need to just read NixOS rebuild root. And use the test command. Fuck. Image equals. That's because this doesn't have this. Sudo vim containers. Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, if all units were started, You know what these are. Kind of random crap. So we go to providers. Go here. Nice, it works. Dope. Dang, this map sucks. Compared to our other map, it's trash. But fine for now. Okay. Okay. So there you have it. That is the halfway point of CI/CD. And we will finish this up another time.